escuchar todos los discursos, los comentarios en español, tengo algunos auriculares disponibles para que lo puedan hacer. Se pueden acercar a mí, pueden alzar la mano y yo con gusto les paso los auriculares. Cualquier pregunta que tengan en cualquier momento, yo estoy aquí dispuesta y contenta para contestarlas. So we have simultaneous interpretation available between Spanish and English for this event. If you would like to follow along in all of the speeches and remarks that are being made in Spanish, then I have some listening devices so that you can follow along in Spanish and listen to the interpretation. If at any point you choose to do so, you can just raise your hand or come over to me. I am always more than happy to help and available to answer any questions that you may have. And with that, I'll let the event get started.
Thank you so much. And welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Two quick announcements. First, if you see somebody come in that didn't hear that last announcement, but could use translation, please let them know. And second, we have a photographer going around. In the back. I know that some of us may not want to have our pictures shared on social media and stuff, and we had some forms to sign, but that's just not going to be practical. So we would ask, if you do not want your picture taken or shared, please let him know. And we'll try to stick as much as we can to people that we know are okay with it. We're not going to put up too much stuff, but we do want to be sensitive about that as much as we can while still spreading the word. So thank you for that. And with that, we're going to get this started with Liz Campos. Oh, thank you.
Is that good? Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Just a little transition. Sorry. So as we open this gathering, and I really appreciate everyone being here, as I know Megan does, to stand against the Supreme Court's ruling in the Skrmetti case, we have to remember to honor the powerful voice of Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who wrote the best opposition to a case ever. I'd also like to remember today as National Indigenous Peoples Day in Canada, June 21st, and recognize that we have to stand, as we stand on unceded Chumash land, that we recognize the Chumash people who lived, worked, and sustained these lands as pure and clean environment for close to 19,000 years. Yeah. We also ask that the Santa Barbara Ventureno Band of Chumash people, one of whom stands with us today, somewhere here, Casey Rodriguez. We thank them for allowing us to live on these lands, utilize the resources, and earn our privilege living here. Every day we need to remember the amazing stewardship of the Chumash that prepared the way for us to take care of these lands. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. So welcome everybody. A big thank you to everyone here. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to our community. And my name is Megan Overland. I'm with the Santa Barbara Transgender Advocacy Network. We are one of the organizers for this event. We also have a number of other organizations that are working with us and partnering with us to make this work. So I'd like to thank Pacific Pride Foundation, PFLAG Santa Barbara, Women's March Santa Barbara, Planned Parenthood California Central Coast, Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara, and Indivisible Santa Barbara for everything everything that they have done, and so many people in those organizations that have helped us with this event and helped us with so much in the community. So just a quick show of hands, who was out last week on Cabrillo? So, Indivisible, thanks for that. That was amazing. And thank you all of the organizations for everything you do. This event is actually also part of a nationwide response to the Skrmetti decision. The ACLU and Lambda Legal have organized probably about 100 events around the country for today. There were two kind of cornerstone protest rallies in New York and Washington, D.C. the day of the decision. And around the country, people are gathering for rallies and community events to talk about this and to talk about what's happening and the danger our trans community is in and our resolve to keep fighting. So thank you to the ACLU and to Legal Lambda, or Lambda Legal, for their help for fighting this in this case and for continuing to fight for us. Now, I think we have some great speakers here today. I'm going to give more of a boring talk. I do want to say that, yes, I am transgender. I came out about 5 years ago when I moved here. And it is difficult for me to be transgender, but it would be impossible for me not to. So I want to thank everybody in the community, my friends at SBTAN and elsewhere, for supporting me and helping me with my journey to be here before you. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I was thinking, I came out about 5 years ago, and it was only something I thought about every day for 30 years, so that's about how long it takes some of us. But I've often thought that in this future, we can build a more supportive community where young people don't have to struggle so much for so long, and they can explore and find out who they are and make the right decisions at an earlier age, and that's what I'm hoping for. I want to give a little background on the Skrmetti case. It sounds like people are kind of familiar, but for those that might not know, there was a law in Tennessee that banned gender-affirming care for transgender youth. And the district court there decided that that was unconstitutional, a violation of our rights. It was a discriminatory based on sex. The appeals court disagreed, and the Supreme Court, they reversed that decision, and the Supreme Court upheld that reversal, unfortunately. And where this leaves us is about half the states in the country, 25 states, half the states, that math checks out, half the states in the country have bans on youth, gender-affirming care for youth that are now going to go into effect, and hundreds of thousands, at least, children are going to be denied medical care. The case, for those that know, hinged on the 14th Amendment and the Equal Protection Clause, and the conservative majority decided that a law that specifically banned medical care for transgender people was not discriminatory based on sex. I do recommend the dissent, which is much more clear, as we understand that if a child were seeking medical care, for example, let's say they were growing hair on their face that they didn't like because it appeared masculine in contrast to their gender presentation. Well, if that person happened to be assigned female at birth, then they can get that care. If that person happened to be assigned male at birth, they couldn't under these laws. And how that's not sex discrimination to the conservative majority, I don't understand. So as Sotomayor said, this has caused just indescribable damage to the Equal Protection Clause and just unimaginable harm to our transgender youth. So I just pray for all of us and that we can turn this around. So, because it doesn't mean that we have to stop fighting. There's still plenty of things that we can fight. Trump's executive orders and overreaches are still illegal, unconstitutional, immoral, and we're going to fight them here on the street. We're going to fight them in the courtroom. We're going to fight them at the ballot box. So we're not going to give up. we show up like this, support each other, we become stronger. We're stronger together. The trans community is not the only vulnerable community right now that's under attack. And so we need to be there for each other at all times. So I thank you all for being here. And no matter what happens, we keep fighting because it's worth it. It's worth fighting for our right to be ourselves. Thank you all. And with that, I'd like to welcome up our next speaker. So Lisa Klein is a therapist, a gender affirming therapist with the LA Gender Center. And please give her a round of applause.
Morning. Thank you so much for inviting me, Megan. I really appreciate being here. This is not my first rodeo. First of all, I feel obligated to own the platform from which I'm speaking. I'm a privileged, white, cisgendered woman. I'm a psychologist and a gender-affirming specialist. You are my community. I am enraged. I'm enraged by this cruelty and transphobic vitriol. It has to stop. We will not be invisible. We will not disappear. We will not be erased as this administration desires. We are not going anywhere. We are here as a nationwide response to the SCOTUS decision to interfere with self-determination and us living authentically. Healthcare decisions are between you, your family, and your medical team. Private healthcare should be just that, private. Children's Hospital Los Angeles announced on June 12th that it would close its Center for Trans Youth Health and Development on July 22nd. Shame. They cited external pressure from the Rump administration as a primary reason. Specifically, they want to block all gender-affirming care for youth. Children's Hospital LA is one of the oldest and largest of its kind in the country. Children's Hospital LA, also one of the few hospitals providing gender-affirming care to patients on public assistance. Thousands of families will be immediately affected, particularly those of low income and underserved communities. Children's Hospital LA says it had no choice after it was threatened that all federal funding would be pulled and doctors prosecuted. Shame. State law prohibits discrimination based on sex and gender identity. There will be a lawsuit. The Trevor Project is our nation's oldest and most utilized suicide prevention hotline, offering multiple resources, particularly to queer youth. They are under attack. 2 devastating blows came down this week. The SCOTUS court decision and eliminating the hotline for our youth. LGBT plus youth use that suicide hotline regularly, 24/7. It's being closed in 30 days. These decisions are threatening all LGBTQ+ youth, young people nationwide. In response to the Trevor Project and concerns for our queer youth, the Canadian government has implemented a prevention hotline to serve all Canada and the United States. Thank you, Canada! There's a wonderful project, if some of you are not familiar, they're called the Gender Cool Project. I really recommend you checking them out online. They're a fabulous organization. And they said it perfectly, and I'm going to close with this, and I need your help. To every trans and non-binary person, particularly our youth, please repeat this after me. You are real.
You are real.
You are loved.
You are loved.
You are free to be yourself.
You are free to be yourself.
You are free to live in your body.
You are free to live in your body.
To live boldly.
To live boldly.
To dream big.
To dream big.
You are thriving.
You are thriving.
You are leading.
You are leading.
You are shaping the future.
You are shaping the future.
This moment might be scary. Remember, you are not alone. Not now, not ever. We see you. We hear you. We believe in you. We're always with you, and we're not going anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I'd like to welcome Jenna Tosh from Planned Parenthood, California Central Coast. Jenna Tosh!
Good. Thanks, Megan. Thank you all. It's great to see everyone. My name's Jenna Tosh. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the CEO at Planned Parenthood, California Central Coast. Well, we are here because once again, this Supreme Court has sided with extreme legislators and sanctioned government interference in our personal health care decisions. We all know that the Skrmetti decision is on the heels of a multi-year attack on some of the most vulnerable people in our communities, trans and non-binary children. Since January, the attacks on trans people have been unrelenting. And now the quote-unquote big beautiful bill that's moving through Congress would end Medicaid funding for gender-affirming care for all people, including adults, as well as defund Planned Parenthood, which is one of the nation's largest providers of gender-affirming care. And as we just heard, on the same day that the Skrmetti ruling came down, this government ended funding for the Trevor Project's LGBTQ+ hotline. It is unconscionable, and it's cruel. The Skrmetti decision erodes the right to bodily autonomy, and it puts the most important and personal healthcare decisions that we make in the purview of the government. Y'all, at Planned Parenthood, we know that healthcare bans threaten people. They threaten people's well-being, they exacerbate health disparities, and they erode the ability of people to determine what's best for them. The truth is, gender-affirming care, including for minors, is evidence-based, it's life-saving, and it is endorsed by every major medical organization worldwide. No family should be barred from doing what is best for their child because of politics. I don't know about you, but when making decisions as personal to my family as pregnancy plans or what kind of health care to access for my children, I don't consult the Tennessee legislature. I don't ask J.D. Vance his opinion. I'm not interested in Clarence Thomas's opinions. It is outrageous that this court is eroding the rights and access of transgender youth and their families and diminishing equal rights protections for communities who need it the most. But all hope is not lost. The Skrmetti decision does not change that in California, transgender people still have the right to care. California law protects transgender youth and their families and their freedom to make their own personal healthcare decisions. And let me assure you that Planned Parenthood refuses to abandon transgender youth and their families. And we will continue to fight for the right of all people, regardless of their age, to access the health care they need and deserve, no matter what. A couple of months ago, this federal government threatened to impose new requirements on our local sex education programs that would erase trans and non-binary identities from our curriculum. So we sued them. And we will work to ensure that trans and non-binary people feel safe and supported at Planned Parenthood, and that gender-affirming care remains available and accessible at all 6 of our Central Coast Health locations. We will never accept attacks on our bodily autonomy, and we will certainly not stand for attacks on our children. We will use our outrage and we will organize. We will demand that our members of Congress stand up against bans on gender-affirming care in Medicaid. We will call on our children's schools and insist that trans and non-binary children be safe and supported. And we call on all healthcare providers to double down on care and support for trans and non-binary people. We will not agonize, we will organize for the rights of our children to live the lives they deserve. And no matter how long it takes, we will win. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenna. Next up, Dakatav Baum, a therapist, a member of the PFLAG Santa Barbara Board. Welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Dakatav Beckham. Thank you for showing up, not just for trans youth, but for the soul of our community. I'm a transgender man, I've been on T for 8 years. I'm a therapist and someone who's had the honor of walking beside gender diverse people, including youth, as they navigate some of the most tender, powerful, and vulnerable parts of becoming themselves. And today, I'm standing here with all of you, grieving. Right now, gender-affirming care for youth is being taken away. Surgeries are being cut, clinics are being forced to close their doors, and people in power are deciding that fear is more valuable than truth, more valuable than science, lived experience, and the very lives of our kids. Let me say this plainly. Denying gender-affirming care is not a neutral act. It is not a policy debate, it is clinical negligence. It is emotional violence, and it puts kids' lives at risk. As a therapist, I've seen firsthand what happens when a young person is told that their rights are too political. I've seen the depression, the isolation, the panic attacks, and the self-harm. But I've also seen something else. I've seen the power of a name change bring light back into a kid's eyes. I've seen a binder or a first hormone shot make the impossible feel real. I've seen trans kids thrive, not because they were fixed, but because they were seen, supported, and affirmed. That is what gender affirming care does. It is not about forcing identities, it's about making space for authenticity. It is about suicide prevention, it's about mental health, and it's about survival. So what do we do when the law tries to shut that down? We become the medicine. We become the listeners, the educators, and the mentors. I think about how I felt coming out, how my body felt like a political pawn, how different my life could have been if society didn't tell me, you're too young to know who you are. But I did know. I did. And these kids do too. Sorry, Mom, it was never a phase. So if you hear nothing else today, please hear this. They are still just kids. Kids who want to go to school and be called by the right name. Kids who want to go swimming without panic. Kids who want to play soccer without being bullied. Kids who want to celebrate birthdays, fall in love, grow up and get silly tattoos, and build lives that feel worth staying alive for. To the trans kids who might hear this, please know, you are not a debate. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a miracle to protect. You are already whole, even if the systems around you are broken. And thank you to everyone here for standing up with us. May we keep showing up for each other, louder and fiercer, until every trans kid knows they are not alone and we will never stop fighting for them.
Thank you, Dr. Todd. Next, I'd like to welcome Amber Thompson, a trans activist, up to speak. Amber.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amber Thompson. I'm a mother, your neighbor, the first transgender state delegate in Ventura County, and the creator of The Amber Show on Instagram. But today I'm standing here in one role only, as your sister in this fight. We are here on the steps of this courthouse today because something devastating happened this week. The Supreme Court of the United States in the Skrmetti decision upheld a law that strips transgender youth of their right to gender-affirming healthcare. They call it policy, but we know it for what it really is: state-sanctioned violence against the transgender community. Let's be honest about what happens when you force a trans child to detransition or force them to go through a puberty that doesn't align with their biology. You unravel everything their doctors, therapists, and families have worked to build. You tell them that their truth is too inconvenient for lawmakers, and you teach them that their government sees them as disposable. And that shame, the kind that gets coded into your body when your identity becomes politicized, that shame kills children, and we've already lost too many. We stand here just one day before the anniversary of the Dobbs decision, the ruling that stole reproductive rights from millions. We said then that if the courts could take that right away, they would come for the rest. And here they are, and they're not going to stop here either. Now, some will say, be careful. Some, like Representative Sarah McBride, who I once looked to as a beacon, say we must temper our demands, that we've overplayed our hand as transgender people. And that's a direct quote. But I'm here to say this clearly and without apology. Trans kids are not a PR liability. They are not political collateral, and they are never too much. When you are a trans woman with power and privilege, especially in an elected office, your duty isn't to soften your message so others feel more comfortable abandoning us. Your duty is to rise even louder and protect the most vulnerable, those without media coverage, those without focus groups, and those without a polling memo to back them up. So to every trans kid and teen here today, I will not abandon you. We will not abandon you. You are never alone. I will continue to show up for you every single time, and I will never ask that you shrink so that I can keep my seat at a table that doesn't even serve our community. I know what it means to be told you don't belong. I know what it feels like to be left behind by people who look like you, who should know better. But I also know what it means to survive that betrayal and to keep building something better for us, by us. And while we build that, I know all the trans kids out there are feeling scared. But always remember, that fear tells us that we have something worth fighting for. And I promise you, this fight is still worth it, and it's far from over. And to the adults in power, in privilege, please take this lesson home with you. You don't lead by looking at the polls. You lead by looking inward and by displaying courage. And to our trans youth, I want to leave you with this today. Your bodies are sacred. You are necessary, and you are our future. I will not stop fighting for you. Not until the laws in this country match this truth, that you deserve to live, that you deserve to thrive, and that you deserve to have a life grounded in liberty and in the pursuit of happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you, everyone that showed up here today. It means a lot to me. And I think it means a lot to our community to see people standing in solidarity today. We are going to wrap up here really quick. I do want to make a few more announcements and thank some people. First of all, we have care policies in Ojai and Ventura that are going before the city councils next week. Ojai on Tuesday and Ventura on Thursday. If you can come out and support those policies which protect our most vulnerable members of our community, please try to do that. Try to be there. Try to speak up if you can. And I want to make a big thank to all of our co-sponsors here. Planned Parenthood Central Coast. Jenna, thanks so much. And Jenna touched on this, but I want to remind people, in the Planned Parenthood logo there, it says care no matter what, which is different than, for example, the Children's Hospital LA apparently. And so I want to thank Planned Parenthood for standing up for what's right for so long. PFLAG Santa Barbara, for those that may not be familiar, an amazing organization. They have monthly meetings, they present great material, and they have support for families and friends of the queer community. Next month in July, their topic is Gender Queer 101. So I highly recommend their meetings. Look them up. PFLAG, or just Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara, just an amazing organization. Thank you so much, Reverend Julia. Thank you. They make their space available to us and to so many organizations to bring our community together in an environment of understanding and acceptance. So appreciative. A Pacific Pride Foundation, supporting our queer community, our health, such an important part of our community. Indivisible Santa Barbara, thank you so much for what you're doing to help fight against everything going on right now. Women's March Santa Barbara, also helping people get out like this and get our community together. On the handouts and on this poster, there's QR codes, which will take you to a web page that has some more information. I probably wrote too much. I apologize for that. But if you want to find out how to help these organizations, whether to donate or volunteer or just participate, you can visit that page and maybe scroll down to the bottom if that's what you're looking for. So I'll give you a warning. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Have a wonderful solstice, a wonderful day. It means so much to our community and to our children that we're here together. We're only getting stronger. We will fight. We are proud and free. Thank you.
So good to see you. I got your whole